Hello, good afternoon, good morning, depending on the time zone that where you are located. My name is Teresa José. I think most of you know me. I'm Product Marketing Manager, and I've seen version 3 dot something. Today we have the honor to have also here Miguel Carrillo that will be presenting with me and will show you the Altitude V8 demo on social media. And we also have here Miguel Lopes and Patricia that is also helping in the organization. I think we have less people today than the ones that we wished to come to this webinar because it's Easter. I think that most of the people did not recall. So for those of you that celebrate Easter, a special thank you for coming, and let me start by wishing you a good festivity. Okay, without further delays, I will start just by showing you some instructions on the GoToWebinar. So as an attendee, you have on the top window, let me just highlight it here. Sorry. So you have a help button, so where you can see a lot of instructions. The most important ones are here. You are all muted in order to try to guarantee the quality of the voice. But you can put questions, and Patricia is here to answer your questions in terms of connectivity and where to get help. Also, in the end, we will do a Q&A session, but make sure that if you have questions in the middle of the session, you can put them here and write them, and we'll try to address them. You can also raise your hand in order to call our attention and to call the attention of me, the presenter, or Miguel. Okay, so without further delays, today we are presenting Altitude UCI 8 social media capabilities. I know you've been waiting for this, and I think that after this session you will be able to argument on the importance of integrating social media in the overall customer service strategy and use that argument also when you're talking to the customers. Also understand the role that the contact center plays in the social media implementation. Why, how we believe, or how Altitude believes the contact center plays an important role. You'll be able to see how Altitude UCI 8 specifically addresses this. So you'll see a demo, you'll see also a case study, and you will receive an overview of product marketing best practices, tools and tips for not only incorporating social media in the contact center, but also to help you sell these to your customers. So as I said before, in the end, you have time for Q&A, and I hope this session is very interactive. So, starting, I'm showing you the conversation prism. This is a very famous picture. It is published all over, but it is, of course, is a gentleman named Brian Solis, and he has published a lot about CRM 2.0. And the important thing about this picture is that when you talk about social media, the most important thing to think about and to ask yourself is what are we talking about and what is the customer talking about? Because people talk about the conversation prism and talk about social media in things like BBS that are a lot old. Things about, just because you can share documents and then you can post something. They talk about blogs, communities, SMS and voice, so Skype could be included, and then they talk, of course, about the social networks that it's the most common one, like Facebook, and about Twitter, etc. So the most important thing, and when you are helping customers building their business case, is to think about what are we talking about. And most of the things, if you think about a forum or a website, most of the things we are already doing it with Altitude UCI 7, and we can do with Altitude UCI 8, and the agents are replying to questions and things that come on the websites of companies and organizations, and probably you know a lot of case studies that even we don't know about it. So when talking to existing customers, you are seen as a business partner they can trust, and the important message here is that you as a sales or you as a GPS manager are also, you have the opportunity to talk with new customers, with new business partners, because social media is a foot in the door. So it's an opportunity to know their pains and to show expertise in other areas. Of course, you can ask our support. So you have help from product marketing, you have help from sales support, and from the demos, okay, and for your pre-sales. So I think when talking to customers, we will always learn, and sometimes the customer learns too. So again, and trying to illustrate what are we talking about, when we mention social media, I divide it in two main categories. So a company that wants to look at social customer service or at how to address social media in its contact center is probably more concerned with its own communities. That is, what answer will I provide to my own channels, meaning my Facebook page, my Twitter account, etc. The minute that I publish that, then what am I going to do with that? And then we can also talk about the world. What is the world talking about Altitude, or what is the world talking about specific customer like Transcom, etc. Normally, I would say that the contact center is more important here, or it's the biggest fit. Nevertheless, and I will talk about that, we have some case studies and some references that also we use this part of what are people talking about. And the contact center also plays a role in there. Okay, so this was one of the topics in the agenda. How does the social media fit in the customer interaction management or in the contact center? So there is, if we think about social media and why is it used in order to reply to our customers, there is one factor that I don't consider to be very related with the contact center, which is the innovation. So getting ideas for new products and ideas for new services, and try to measure that with the customer. There may be some fit with the contact center, but normally this is more related with other areas. And there is another part, which is the support and order. So extend the service channels. And I would say this is the area where the social media is more related with the contact center, because the contact center is already providing these services, so it is a channel, how do you say, extension. Then there are other things like listen and response. So this is where we go and listen what the world is talking about, and then we try to respond. So it is also related with the call center. It is also related with marketing. So we want to promote happy customers, and we also want to dialogue with unhappy customers. So when we listen, we can classify, and some of these posts may go to order and support, some others may go to promotion and sales, and in this case it is also related with the call center. Okay, so depending on the category that we listen, it is also related with the call center. And we will go in more detail in all these areas, okay? I left out of this presentation the part of the innovation. Okay, first part. Social customer service and support. Well, and I will illustrate more on the Facebook and Twitter, because we have direct channels, Facebook and Twitter, on Altitude UCI 8. So social customer service and support. The only logical home for this in the company's organization is the contact center. Guess what? Marketing will not reply, will not have, if you talk with marketing people, they don't think the history of contact is important, except if they work for Altitude, because then we know we work on that. But normally marketing people don't think the history of contact is important. They don't think the service level is important. They only consider that we replied this many number of posts, and this many were positive, this many were complaints, and then the history, who was it? Was it a customer? Was it a person? They don't care. So social customer service replies will only come from the contact center, and this is on all studies that you can see. So as customers demand to be served on social media, companies must integrate their social media in their overall customer service strategy, and that is already normally with the contact center. And they also need to provide consistency and integration with the other channels that already support the service or the support. Okay? So there is no doubt of the importance of the contact center in this digital society. So it's a primary view for customers to have interactions, not only for the social media like Facebook or Twitter, but also how customers call in. And then also you already have staff to reply to your customers. So if you don't know how many tweets you're going to have or how many Facebook posts you're going to have, then you can use the same staff. And also, this staff is already trained to reply to this type of issues in terms of services, in terms of orders. They must, of course, learn new policies. But it's the most easiest thing to do is to put it on the contact center. Also very important is that this team is already the ones that know how to escalate the problem. So if it is related to sales, I know how to escalate to sales, to customer support, second level, or to the marketing people. Okay? So let me see if I can use a feature here of GoToWebinar. I'd like to make a moment more interactive in order to be always talking and to see if you are still listening or not. I'd like you to answer just a simple question. And no one has answered yet, so this is not very good. Now someone has already answered. So can you please go and click on the screen and answer who is responsible for social media. This is just to make sure that you are listening, and I'm glad that I did this test because we have 3 votes now. We have still some people missing. So I think most of the persons already, I think most of the people already voted, and I don't know, I should have trained this better because I'd like to show you the results. No? Okay, I'm going to close, and now I'm going to share. So now, let me try to share again, because... Estás a ver? Mas eu não estou a ver porque eu tinha erro. Mas tu estás a ver? Okay, so sorry. What is? We were some people were not seeing here in the room, so I was asking if someone was seeing or not. But now I can move forward. Sorry for this. So. Okay, so we see that most of the people think that it's marketing, public relations, the contact center, or the customer service. And in fact, this is close to the reality. But if you think about, generically for social media, but if you think about customer service, then all reports say that the logical home is the contact center, and there is no doubt. Okay? But you are close to the correct answer generically in the surveys. And so thank you for participating. Okay, so, well, this slide is to represent the customer power and what is now. So, as you know, a good experience is less shared than a bad experience. So if normally we have a bad service, then we would say to 1 or 2 friends. With social media, we can post it in our Facebook page, and the number of friends that we see regularly on Facebook are higher than the people we normally talk day to day. So this multiplies. The bad experience is like in media, they always use bad news because it gets more people. So the bad experience gets even more people than without social media. So customers now have power. And if you go and see some surveys from the US, recent surveys say that, for instance, 12% of consumers last year already posted in social media about a service experience. And then each post was viewed in average by 45 people. And there are a percentage of consumers that read about the bad experience and that would not do like 62% of those would not do business with that offending company. The same survey from U.S. National Consumer Agency stated that 24% of consumers would like for their company to be available to do customer service on social media. So it's an opportunity because consumers expect brands to be in social media. And the same survey from 2011 stated like 22% of companies expect to have a social media presence in the future. And so they want to increase the usage of social media for customer service, and this would be like 66%. So it is definitely an opportunity to talk with companies and to tell them why don't you give customers what they demand and what they want, so without increasing a lot on your expenses and on your operational effort. And this is the solution, and this is how you can do it with Altitude UCI. Even if they have few agents doing social media, the idea is that they should have a unified, integrated solution. Okay, there are some differences between the traditional customer service and the current traditional social media service. So there are things that have changed. So traditionally, customer service is passive. You have to wait for an answer. You call someone, someone has to answer you, and you wait for an answer. In social media, it is real time. I post it, and it's instant, it's there, it's permanent. People see what I have posted. And equally, the replies get permanent, and anyone can see. And it is also more equal, so everyone can be an expert. So if I go to social media and post something, it's not only the company that replies that is the expert. Equally, we can have someone reading the post and be an expert. So there are some challenges like the human resources, new type of competencies. If they reply online, they are more empowerment. Then you need also the technology to support it, integration with the new medias, and you need the processes in place. But there is a lot that has not changed. So it's the same customer service rules that apply. You have to treat customers with respect. You have to deliver on what we promised, etc., etc. So a lot hasn't changed. So when you're talking with customers, remember, you're helping them building the business case. It's a foot on the door. So it is important for us. Also, it is also important for our BPO and outsourcing customers, because it's also a foot in the door for their new customers. So we have built this checklist, and we can help you in building the business case. So they need to define new policies for agents. They need to define the corporate control, if there is an approval mechanism, if you're going to reply one-to-one or one-to-all, what categories do the posts come, define priorities, routing, workflow, decision tree, etc., what metrics, who is going to reply to what, to whom, what is to ignore, what is to escalate, what is to register, etc., etc. The important thing in social media as a channel and the differentiators of Altitude UCI is that we have everything in the same, so it's the unified thing. So we have integration with Facebook and Twitter, but also through any media you can define also forums, RSS feeds, etc. Then the same unified agent interface where you can reuse knowledge-based articles and quick text articles to reply also to social media. So if you are already replying to email and now you want to add Twitter, you just need to make sure that it is in 140 characters, but you can use the same reply mechanisms. Then the unified workflow is also important because it can define you a process and redefine this process. The routing with priorities, skills is also important. The fact that you have everything integrated in the multimedia and with the centralized monitoring, it's also important. And it is also a differentiator from, I don't know if all, but the majority of our competitors. It's the unification. Okay, so probably you are now tired of listening, talking, and now it is the chance to see it in action. And Miguel will help me on that. Welcome, Miguel.
Hi, Teresa. Hi, Teresa.
So I'll move the presentation to Miguel.
So hello everyone, I'm going to show you a small demo of our Facebook integration with Altitude UCI8. This right here is the virtual machine that we prepare for our pre-sales people so that they can do their presentations to our prospects and our clients. It's very simple, it all comes installed, you just log in into the supervisor. Here I'm using a user that is a supervisor for the campaign where Facebook is integrated. And right away, you're going to see a new feature on Altitude UCI8. This specific user has a specific homepage with information that interests him for his job. Here, for instance, you can see that right away he gets this graphic with the number of handled interactions. Because the campaign handles all these different types of media: telephony, email, instant messaging, and Facebook. Okay, so here I have an agent, Dave, ready on UAgent. He's ready on the campaign. So I go to the Facebook page that we created. This is a fictitious car company. And with my personal Facebook account, I'm going to create a post. I'm going to ask something. At what time are you open on Saturday? Share. Okay, and here I get the interaction on UAgent. I just press accept, and here is my post. This is my name, and what time are you open on Saturday? Here you can see right away that we have two buttons. We can either comment on the post or we can delete it. This time I'm going to just comment on it and just say we are open from 9 p.m. till noon. This is very simple. This is all done in ASL, which most of the people that already know it, to do scripts for telephony or for email, it's in the same language, using the same tools, script developer. This is very simple to do. So press comment, and I just sent the interaction into Facebook. So if I go to Facebook, I press F5 for refresh, and I should get, it takes a while because Facebook doesn't always register it right away. It takes like 1 second or two. Okay, so it's already here. And here it is. We are open from 9 p.m. till noon. So I'm just going to pretend I'm some not so nice person, and I'm going to say, of course, it is open on Saturday, you idiots. To show you that we can delete these rude posts as well. So I go here, Dave is ready on the campaign, and he will get the message. And as you can see, we get all the history of that specific post. And I'm going to, before I press delete, I just want to show you something that it's what Teresa was talking about. It's one of the advantages of using the UCI8. We can go here. If I go to contact profiles, you can see that if we can identify the person that is doing these posts, we can check his history. For instance, here we have John Smith. He has contacted the contact center with email, with instant messaging, with Facebook, with telephony medias. And we can check for details. We can see, for instance, this email, he was asking, okay, this was a complaint. I'm still waiting for your reply. But this is one of the big advantages, I think, of using Altitude with Facebook. So here I'm going to delete, and it should delete just the last post that I made. And okay, it's taking a while. Okay, so it's deleted. We go here and no longer there. Just one last thing. I know we are a bit short on time, but I think it's important, and you will understand it easily. This campaign, as I showed you in that graphic, we take care of telephony media, of email, of instant messaging, and of Facebook, all in the same campaign. And I'm going to show you just how easy it is, for instance, to configure the priority of each interaction. You just go into this screen, and you can choose which one you prefer to have more priority and go and be distributed to the agents first and pass the others on the unified queue. It's really just that simple of just moving around these small columns. Okay, Teresa, that's all. Back to you.
Thank you, Miguel. Thank you, Miguel. It was a very good presentation. As Miguel said, I think this is important. And one of the things that he showed is when you go to the history and the customer is identified, he could decide, and this is very often, to call the person instead of argumenting on Facebook and to try to dissuade them not to post and not to be rude. But Miguel is a nice guy. This is just an example. Okay. As Miguel was saying also, we are a little late on the schedule of the presentation, but it is my fault, not Miguel's. Okay, again, I just came back to the same slide because I wanted to tell you that now I consider that we have answered the support in our order, partially also to the promote and sale because the process is very similar. I'm now going to talk a little about how to listen because the response is also similar. And so when you listen online, we integrate with other social media, other social monitoring tools. So we don't have the intention of an altitude, and it would not make any sense for us to develop this type of software. It makes sense to integrate with the industry and what they have. Generically, and there are surveys, and if you go to the Altinet page on social media, I have links to this survey. And I was supposed to make you also this question on what are the tools that are being used, but because we are late on time, I will not do it. But if you look at these surveys, most of the companies are using free tools. But also these free tools are, so most of the companies that are doing this, because a lot of companies are not listening online, are using a bunch of free tools. And then there are, of course, more features on the paid tools. And we did an integration with, in Altitude UCI 8 with Rating 6, which is a paid tool. But free tools, you have Google Alerts, Social Mention, blog search, etc., Twitter search. And then paid tools, you have Rating 6, you have Bayesian, which is, and Basemetrics, which are one of the most, are the most used tools. You have also Altitud, etc., So this is generically, the customer may use what they wish. We have this done with Rating 6. We also have some demos running with free tools, and then it is a project that can be done. Let me explain you briefly how these tools work. So we are talking about listening in what the world is talking about us. So you define where you want to capture your data. So imagine that you are a travel company. Probably you want to define that you want to capture in important traveling blogs and important, it can be regional or globally, etc., So where, what, is it posts only, is it blogs? So there is normally a configuration that where you define this. So is it a forum, a blog, etc. It can also capture from things that go on Facebook, etc. Then it is also part of the configuration on handling the information. So these tools have, some have more features, some have less features. So they can look for spammers, they can do language filter, they can delete duplicates, they can or cannot do sentiment analysis, like is this positive, is this negative. And they can also assign categories. So this is related to a complaint or to a product. So I can define keywords and assign categories directly on the tool. So I'm using here an example of a complete tool such as Radian 6 that can do all of this, of course, and we have projects with specific companies that do listening where the agent also goes and classifies it further. So if it is an important post with a lot of followers, but with the sentiment analysis of being negative or positive, the agent may go in and it had humor, so it was not the right sentiment classification. But normally this is defined by marketing. Then also you can define data analysis, like identification if it is an influencer or not. So it is a post of someone in a Twitter that has no followers, so it's not important. If they have more than 1,000 followers, then it's important. And it can do also, some of the tools can do also some data mining, the most complete tools. And then these tools deliver normally a report. Some tools can deliver a workflow, like they can send to us an email, and what we are using, for instance, in Radian 6, most of the tools also have APIs, and most of these tools work for those technical people that are attending with REST APIs, which is the case for Radian 6. So we go and get what we want. So that's the way that we did. So how does it work with Altitude UCI? So here we define what we want to capture, and we do it in the tool. This social aggregator and monitoring engine analyzes everything, and then we on the Altitude UCI decide where to put it, either on the routing or on the workflow. We recommend to use on V8 the workflow because it makes a lot of sense. And then depending on the interaction that we caught, we deliver it to an agent or we handle it automatically. Okay, and then what you've seen from Miguel is the same process or a similar one. I missed to say how we reply. So we can, let me go back. So we can reply from the UAgent interface, or we can decide that we want to reply directly. If we reply from the UAgent, then all the history is kept. We can use also the knowledge base and everything, so we recommend that. And of course, we can benefit from the knowledge base approval mechanism. So you can define that the agent only replies with articles that are already approved, and the ones that are new, the agent proposes on the knowledge base, and there is a second level of agents that approve these articles. So it's the same thing that we're already using for email. And then very important also is the unification, the same queue, that you can reuse the same agents and staffing. So you have like Agent John that can handle both social media and emails. So it has queue A and B. And this is very important because there is no issue on having a few agents working on social media. And also, if social media comes, we can use other agents with skill A and train them for skill B. And then filter priorities, competencies, knowledge base, quick text articles, they are all reused, and it's unification. Plus, the customer gets this image of consistency and unification on the service and on everything, which makes a lot of sense. Okay, so now I'm going to move on again the presentation to Miguel, and he's going to present about the Radian 6.
Okay, so with Radian 6 integration, we are basically using the same, what Teresa was talking about. We use Radian 6 as a social aggregator. It's the same logo you can see from the previous slide. Here you can see that Radian 6 is a social aggregator that goes on the internet and checks for and reads all the information from Facebook, from Twitter, all those social networks, and delivers it to Altitude UCI. Here you can see it's the web interface of Radian 6. You can define the search you want with keywords. You can tell it to ignore some keywords because some things appear to be different from the others, but they're the same. And you can also, because Radian 6 you have to pay for it, you have to pay for the number of articles it gets from the internet. So if you don't want to spend a lot of money, you just say, I only want 10,000 articles and it costs me X amounts of dollars, and you can configure everything here. Here you can see the screen on the Altitude UCI that gets all that information that you can define on the Radian 6 and that you can and that it gets from the links. Radian 6 makes available relevant data to route, prioritize, and reply. Here you can see you get the publish date, the sentiment, because Radian 6, as Teresa said, does sentiment analysis, the language of the article, the author, and we use all this in Altitude UCI 8 to monitor, to produce reports. Here you can see some graphics that we do using that same business data that we get from Radian 6. As Teresa said, one of the best ways to do this is using workflow. Here you can see, for instance, that the first task is auto-sorting. It automatically sorts what it's going to do with the article in question. It can either go to an agent or it can dispatch it to a different department from the marketing department and create a ticket to the customer support. And this is one of the big advantages, I think, of Altitude UCI 8, the use of the workflow engine that we have. Here you can see inside the UAgent, this particular agent is trying to match the person doing the post with the physical person that we call the contact profile in Altitude UCI. He is trying to create, he's either going to create a ticket, say it's not a customer, he's going to search for the customer in our directory, and then you can see that a different agent can reply to the post. So we have different agents with different skills, and with workflow it's very easy to define which takes care of what, and it's very easy to reply.
Okay, so yeah, we have so we have the question, and the question was from André Fontinhas in Brazil, and we have a lot of people attending from Brazil. And the question is, do we have Radian 6 in marketing demo to prove, to make some tests? I can answer that. So we have, actually it was me that took care of that. So we have an account to Radian 6 that we established a connection with Radian 6, and they gave us a demo account that first I experimented a little, and then it moved to the demo environment to test. The issue is that we only have one account, so that's why it's not on the demo published system. Nevertheless, if you wish to use it, so I moved that to João, even though I was the one handling that. If you wish to use it or to test it, please offline contact sales support or contact me, and we can see how we can share that. But we are using that for the demo. Miguel is also going to add something to this.
The workflow that we showed here on the PowerPoint is also on the demo, and also on the demo you can see that some of this, we have some of the articles that we got from Radian 6. So even though the account, as Teresa said, it's not working right now, so you can't get any more articles, there is some there, and there is a workflow created there with workflow processes for each article. That part is all in there.
Okay, so moving ahead, if there is no question now, I will move. Yeah, we do have also more screenshots on the Radian 6 application also, but of course it's also documented by Radian 6. Yeah, offline we will discuss it. Again, what now I'm going to show you is the case study of TechMahindra. So there are plenty more to say about our demos and also about social media, because I think it's not limited to the time that we have on this session. So we try to select what we think is more relevant. So a little bit of theory, then you see it in action with Miguel, and then now I'm showing you our beta customer. So Tech Mahindra is a big company, and it's using us both in Philippines and on India. In the Philippines, they have customer Globe Telecom, and it is a beta. It's not to be disclosed. It's not public case study, but we hope to have one soon. And we are already speaking with Tech Mahindra on that, and they want this case study too, because as I said, it is also a foot in the door for them. It's also good publicity for Tech Mahindra, being an outsourcer and a BPO, to say that they are equipped to make social customer support and or social customer service, which is the area where they want to go for, and that where they have these pilots running with and being developed with our GPS and on top of version 8. So here I have an explanation of the scope of work. Next week we're going to do acceptance tests with the customer. So the idea is that they want to make, they already have a technical support system for Globe Telecom. They want to route, so they open Facebook and Twitter channels, and they want to route Facebook and Twitter service requests also through Altitude UCI. And so they want to deliver them automatically to agents, allowing agents to respond to the message posted. They want to keep history of the replies, and they want to have the same consistency, metrics, service levels as they have in the other channels. So more or less this is the scope of work. So, and this is also an architecture. So they have their network with their database, with Altitude UCI 8, and then they will use Altitude UAgent Windows with AS scripting. Okay. Okay. I think it finds here that I have 2 questions. Let me see. Okay. So nothing very relevant. Okay. So in terms of the routing of the solution, what they decided to use is that the interactions come, and then Tech Mahindra requested that the interactions are sorted according to the type. So if it is Facebook, they go to one mechanism of processes. If it is Twitter, they go to another mechanism. Then they have all these type of activities like customer care, technical issue, prepaid or postpaid, broadband, or generic. Generic is where we don't find any match. And then if it is Facebook, they decided if it is a post that someone already posted, they want to use the last agent. So they're going to look for the last agent. If it is Twitter, they think it is more informal. They don't care about the last agent, so the routing is a little different. So first step is to identify where it came from, Facebook or Twitter. Second step is to identify what is related to. So they do keyword matching, and then they transfer to the agents or campaign, and they select the target campaign. If there is no matching, then they have a generic campaign. Okay, this is the screenshot for the Facebook, and so this is testing environment, so this is not real, even though here it's the real customer. And the agent have the capability, the agent is empowered to reply to everything regardless of the channel being used by the customer, so they have access to the full contact history, they increase the first call resolution, etc., etc. So Facebook posts are queued to agents. Agents can reply to them. They can redirect. They can post back in the same queue. So to be queued to a different agent in the case they don't feel comfortable with the post, or they can redirect it to a different queue if it is wrongly identified in the keyword matching. So the agent reply directly from the UAgent interface. They can use the knowledge base, and everything is captured in the interaction history. And then it is posted back on the wall of Facebook. So this is just a screen of the agent interface, and this is what the agent receives on this interface, and then when I decide to post a reply, it goes to the wall of Globe Telecom on Facebook. Okay. This is the Twitter interface. So this is an example. Again, this is a testing, so this was me posting on Twitter and getting into the campaign, the testing campaign. And on Twitter, we can get mentions, direct message, we can reply back. So Global Telecom was not following me. I could click to follow, and then after clicking to follow, instead of tweeting, I would get other buttons such as direct message. So they could reply back just to me, saying, for instance, and this is also a requirement from Globe Telecom, because sometimes they want to have private messages like, I need your support account number. And on Facebook, this is important too, because if it's not private, then they call the customer to get their account number and private data. Okay, so I'm sure you have a lot of questions about this, and then we can talk about. I don't have this on the screenshots of Globe Telecom, but I wanted to show, because this is something that after the acceptance tests we're going to do, which is to develop or to reuse what it is already there on the knowledge base for the emails or whatever. But this is very important, because this knowledge-based mechanisms allows you to have a centralized control and a workflow-based process and a centralized content approval if needed, okay, and reuse of knowledge. Okay, and then you could use this quick text article to post back and to reply on Twitter or on Facebook or whatever. So I'm finalizing the part of the content on social media. Then I want to show you the materials that we have available for you to sell it or to present it. So in terms of highlights, I want to resume that the unified multimedia, the desktop, and the scripting are very important. So unification is key. Then intelligent routing is important too, because we want to have the same policies that we already have in the contact center, and it's a major differentiator why the contact center can be the right home instead of marketing. Using skills, blending, because normally if you use also survey data, you have a lot of people that say, I only have 1 or 2 agents, so blending is important. Then very important is the measure, monitor, service levels, business and operation performance indicators, the logging, what does what, when, and what was done, and what was posted, what was replied. Then the fact that you can do multiple things like chat, and you can ask people to come and talk to you on the phone, which is common. Then workflow is important. Unified workflow allows you to use some workflow processes for several channels. Knowledge base and quick text articles you can reuse. And then very important is, we've been asked by a lot of people, if you can do spell checker and individuations, you can. Okay, again, I'm not going to go through this in very detail. If I can move forward, because it's not allowing me. So again, the unified desktop is very important. Agents can also pick up tasks that are related to the workflow, to the social media. So this is an option, but most importantly, people like that they receive according to the priority. So it is alerting. And then it's very important that they have the full history of everything. Okay, social media tools and marketing initiatives, what you have available. So you have a page on Altinet, and this presentation is going to be available to you too. And you have a page on Altinet on social media with a lot of presentations. We have a flyer. We have a 1-minute overview that some of you that logged in initially had the chance to see. It's a video about social media. And then on the page we have also a lot of screenshots, and you also have available on version 8 demo all of this that Miguel showed. Then on the internet, so what are we going to do in terms of marketing, Marcom initiatives? So this is the new mini site for Altitude UCI 8, and then social media is one of the tabs, and I think Carlos is planning also, so the Marcom team together then with product marketing, a campaign on the social media about the Altitude UCI8 support to social media. So now we are open to questions. I don't know if you have more questions. Please type them in. Let me try to see. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to read one of the questions that come again from Brazil. I think the other are how do we say, afraid to make questions. Please make questions. We like questions. Just to emphasize, Altitude Software will sell Radian 6 licenses, and the answer is no. We currently do not have a partnership agreement with Radian 6 to sell their licenses. I think it's a good idea, and if you have feedbacks for that, please send it to Mario Sadil. And then the other question is, Altitude will deliver Radian 6 setup professional services. We already have that skill. And so I think also this is something that we should address carefully. We don't have this skill internally, even though we have done some developments on top of it. So we have configured it, but for, how do we say, development, testing, marketing, demo purposes. So the first person that went and looked at it was me in terms of product marketing. We had this need, so I thought we had this need to understand more deeply what we could do. Then also the R&D used the same tool that we use, so the same account even, and then the demo team also used it. So we do have some know-how, but it's not on the GPS, and we don't have the train the trainer, and probably we need to partner with someone to deliver it in a more accurate way to our customers. This is something that I believe Mario is looking at least this was something that he was looking at in terms of partnership, and then we sure need to discuss it with our GPS managers and the strategy to be defined region by region. I don't know if it answered you. We could discuss this also offline in more detail. I hope yes, because at least Frederico was thinking. Any other questions? We can speak about the project on Tech Mahindra, whatever. If you have questions, feel free to ask. I think you are too tired now. It's almost 1 hour of listening to us speaking. Okay, we'll wait 1, 2, 3, no more questions. You know that you can always contact us. We like questions because it's the only way to make our efforts to be useful for you and to learn more from you too. So we want to thank you all for your time. Give you some links for the social media in our site and on the Altinet. I will send an email back with the presentation to all of you, probably tomorrow, because after I do the second session, I publish the slides and put everything. I just want to remind one thing. Altinet is currently being updated, so a lot of links may not work properly, even though we're trying to make it as fast as possible. It is the same team that was also updating the site, so please be a little patient. But do email us if you have any issue. Okay, so you can email ADSL support. As usual, they are always available, but you can also directly email product marketing. Normally, there is also one person assigned to handle these emails and to send you the correct document, because we have everything done for the Delta of E8. We have almost everything in the new templates that we had previously for version 7. So we probably can help even if the link is not working, because currently the issue is that we are redoing everything on Altinet and there was like more than 500 different links that we need to update. So this ends our presentation. Thank you everyone. Thank you very much for coming, and I hope it was worthwhile. When I end the presentation or when you leave, you'll be asked a few questions, and again, this is a way also for us to have feedback on what we should extend, what we should decrease, and to help make the next sessions more useful to you. Thank you.